Funding for this program was provided by the Muriel Pollia Foundation, John and Rebecca Moores, Carolyn and Peter Lynch, Mike and Jeanette Bedart, and Carolyn Menskoff.
Hello, I'm Renee Russo, and I'm here to tell the story of an extraordinary man, a man whose energy and talent is matched only by his incredible generosity. His name is Sam Maloof. Sam's three loves, of wood, of creating useful objects, and of design, brought him to the world of furniture and eventually to an honored place among America's leading designer artists. Sam has devoted his life to making furniture and is often acclaimed as the most widely admired contemporary furniture builder ever. Do you like your job? How long do you plan to work? Sam continues to work as he enters his 90s, and his daily activity, 6 days a week, year-round, is turning wood into living art. Sam Maloof's technical mastery of woodworking is coupled with strong personal artistic expression. He has set a standard for his craft here and around the world. Future generations of creative people will see him as one of the major artistic lights of this century. The California State Legislature has designated Sam as a living treasure of California. And Sam was the first woodworker to be awarded the MacArthur Foundation Genius Grant, a kind of American version of the Nobel Prize. Sam made rocking chairs for 2 U.S. presidents, Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. The rocking chair, his signature piece, is the first work by a living craftsman ever to be included in the White House collection of American furniture.
I'm an amateur woodworker myself, very amateurish, but like other woodworkers who know your work, you're an inspiration to all of us. And I think I can say without equivocation or dispute from anybody else, you're the finest woodworker in the world. And I think the reason for it is not just the technical competence of the way the chair is made, but I think that the moral values that you exemplify and the inner spirit that you exude are both incorporated into the remarkable beauty of this piece of furniture. It's one of the most precious possessions I have, and I'm deeply grateful to you. All right. That feels so good, so good. How you make something out of, I understand, very unforgiving and hard wood, so compatible with the human body is a special treat.
2 books have been written about Sam Maloof and his work. Jonathan Fairbanks wrote the introduction to one book authored by Sam. Fairbanks was a former curator at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts.
He's so skillful. His mind and his soul can transform and make wood do what it probably wasn't meant to do.
Jeremy Adamson authored the book, The Furniture of Sam Maloof, and was the curator for the showing of Sam's furniture at the Smithsonian American Art Museum.
Sam had never studied furniture. He'd never studied how to make it. He'd never studied the history of it. It was something that really being able to look at a picture, being able to be exposed to a design, he had a remarkable capacity just to absorb it, to understand it mentally, to take it apart imaginatively, and to put it back together in his own hands, literally through the process of actually doing it. And I think this is one of the most remarkable things, something that makes him almost unique among furniture makers today.
Sam's furniture is very sensual. It functions as comfortable seating while delighting a person with the imaginative play of shapes. When sitting on Sam's furniture, you experience sculptural form directly, how its contours fits the human frame, and how its edges contrast soft and hard lines. Sam had no formal training in art or furniture making, so there is a completely personal quality to his work. Throughout his career, Sam simply has done what made sense to him, trusting his own eye and instincts. The heirloom quality of Maloof's furniture has made his furniture very popular with auction houses, as well as the nonprofit organizations Sam supports.
I've handled a great many Sam Maloof pieces. I celebrate them, I enjoy them. I talk about him whenever I get a chance. He's one of my favorite furniture makers and a wonderful human being. He's known for his rockers, but he has done spectacular other pieces as well.
$6,000 is in the room. Is there any advance? $6,000 in the room at $6,000. No advance. $21,000. $22,000. $21,000 is on the phone. No advance.
Beautiful joinery, spares no expense for the materials he covers things in, and just a wonderful, wonderful idea at shaping the idea about how a person is going to live with his furniture. The idea is that it's going to fit you, and that you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to celebrate it, you're going to cherish it, and you're going to pass it on.
I'm the program director of the Furniture and Woodworking program here at Anderson Ranch, and I'm standing in the Sam and Alfreda Maloof wood barn, and it's named for Sam and Alfreda because Sam has been so important to this program. Every year, Sam gives us a piece for the auction, and the auction is one of our major fundraisers.
$33,000, $33,000 going, $36,000. Let's go in here, Jack. $60,000. How about 65? 65.
He comes every year and does a workshop as well.
It makes a real nice imaging here. And it just slides out.
He's a born teacher. He's extremely generous on every level.
Now I make a very good living. I could have retired 15, 20 years ago if I'd wanted to, but I think I'd just die then. So this keeps me alive.
He will stay on the last day until the last person leaves. He will sign everybody's book. He will look at everybody's pictures of their work. He will make comments. He will sign. People run underneath the bandsaw and get scraps of his wood and bring it up for him to sign. And he's so generous. I mean, he's interested in everybody.
I certainly appreciate it. I enjoyed your class.
Well, thank you for coming.
In 2002, a Maloof rocking chair was auctioned at the Anderson Ranch Arts and Crafts Center for $180,000.
I can't believe anybody walked in and paid $180,000 for it.
The Ellis Island Medal of Honor was established to pay tribute to Americans of all ethnic groups who have distinguished themselves through their contributions to American society and culture.
Bob Hope, Frank Sinatra, John McCain, Rudy Giuliani. Those are some of the people that have sat on this dais tonight. So if you're up there, don't forget what it means to receive this award. One of America's premier woodworkers and furniture makers, his work has been exhibited in museums, including the Smithsonian. Award-winning artist, he still works every day in his shop. Sam Maloof.
Recipients include U.S. presidents, members of Congress, corporate executives, athletes, entertainers, ordinary citizens, and the extraordinary Sam Maloof. Sam's parents were born in Lebanon and came to America through Ellis Island at the beginning of the 20th century. By the age of 5, Sam could read and write and was already showing his artistic ability. Since childhood, Sam has also been in love with technique and has constantly developed his precise sense of form and design. At 12, he designed and formed this board for his mom to take bread from the oven, an early example of form serving function. Sam Maloof could have taken a position in nearly any artistic field, from painting to architecture. He worked in many different fields in his early life and could have succeeded as a designer in many different disciplines. In the Army during World War II, Sam's graphic design skills were put to work, advancing him quickly through the ranks to attain the stripes of Master Sergeant in the shortest time ever recorded.
After having gone into the Army, here again, the skills that he had developed, the mechanical drawing and engineering, helped him, and he was certainly involved with making maps, doing a lot of the technical things that, again, would be good for somebody who was going to be out designing anything.
Upon returning from the Army, Sam picked up his graphics career again, and soon was working as a studio assistant for Millard Sheets, the noted watercolor artist. Millard Sheets was California's most famous living artist after World War II, and was the single most important influence on the development of Sam's aesthetic sensibility. In June of 1947, while waiting for one of Millard Sheets' classes to end, Sam encountered Alfreda Ward. It was love at first sight.
This is a very, very sentimental spot for me. This is where I met her. Frida came in from the door over there and I looked at her and I said, that has to be the most beautiful woman I've ever in my life seen. And I kept my eyes on her. She walked all through and walked over to where I'm standing here. We visited about 10 minutes and she told me her name. I told her my name. We were married within about 2 months. And I didn't lose very much time, though, asking her to marry me.
Only 1 month after their first date, Frida and Sam were married. She knew she'd marry him the first time she laid eyes on him. And so had Sam. Were it not for the perpetual support of Alfreda, Sam may never have become a recognized furniture maker. It was she who believed wholeheartedly in his talent and was willing to adapt to shoestring budgets and a Spartan lifestyle in order to achieve their dream. She encouraged Sam to become entirely reliant on his woodworking commissions for their sole income. Alfreda was not only Sam's constant companion, she was also his guardian angel, keeping him focused on the important things in life.
I want to introduce my wife, Frida, who's worked with me for 50 years. She's taken a beating. A beating. A lot of responsibility. And like I say, not very many married couples have the opportunity to have lived together for 50 years and worked together for 24 hours a day for 50 years. So I do want to thank her an awful lot for putting up with me.
In the compound itself, Frida was the peaceful epicenter. Her emotional calm and the moral order she gently imposed held everything in balance. Meager though it was, the Maloofs managed to purchase a lemon grove in Alta Loma, complete with a run-down house nestled under a giant avocado tree and a chicken coop that Sam used as his first studio, where he began designing furniture in earnest. This was Sam Maloof's home for over 50 years. It's a magical place, as you will discover over the course of this program. It challenges the imagination to note that Maloof designed and constructed this home, room by room, with his own hands.
And it just happened. I mean, if one were to tell me, did you have everything planned? I did not have. Although I had a mental drawing in my head of what I wanted to do. I built the house like I do furniture.
The most well-known creation found in the Maloof residence is a unique spiral staircase. The staircase is made of triangular treads with round-over edges, a vertebrae-like center post, and an organically shaped handrail that defies structural logic. Sam consolidated space and function as a direct result of his budget. He built when he had time and money.
Throughout the house, there were different things that inspired me. One idea begets another idea, and a lot of times you can't wait to get up in the morning to go ahead and start on them. But I did have to build furniture for a living, too. I really didn't know what I was going to do here, so I just carved it. And some people think it's a fish, but it's just a design. Those things kind of just happen. You could go through the whole house and see all the different types of hinges I made. Here I used different, I did these on the lathe. I used different kind of posts. Each one of them is different.
The general structure of the house was built, but it did not become his home until he added his ornamentation, arts, and furniture.
But the house is an extraordinary place. It's a magical place. It's a place which is filled with objects that have extraordinary meaning to Sam, and these are highly personal things, and things that show that his reach and his understanding of different media, different craft media, is exceptional. The selection that he has of Indian pottery, of Indian rugs, Navajo and Hopi, is exceptional. It's really a very first-class, a world-class collection of Indian art.
Frida had about 4 Indian blankets when I married her, and now we have about 200 of them. And they're just fascinating. I love them very much.
But as you look through any room, there are contemporary pieces and older pieces, there are paintings and watercolors. There's stained glass, there's pottery, there are turnwood bowls. It's a whole cornucopia of other people's work in different media.
Sam's presence in the world bring you to other people. You know, he's very open and generous that way.
Sam's collecting habit was one of the principal reasons he kept adding rooms.
It wasn't because I wanted a big house or anything, but Frida and I collected, and we sort of ran out of room. So when we ran out of room, we just added another room.
Initially, visitors were overwhelmed, but then delighted by the sheer number of art and craft objects Sam had collected, to say nothing of the more than 100 pieces of Maloof furniture that they encountered upstairs and downstairs, from one end of the house to the other. Early in Sam's career as a woodworker, he received a call from the eminent industrial designer Henry Dreyfuss, asking him to design and make furniture for his new home in Pasadena, California. Henry Dreyfuss was an industrial planner famous for designing mass-produced items for everyday use. Dreyfuss ordered furniture from Sam without dictating its design. He admired and wanted the personal expression of Sam's work. Indeed, the prototype dining chair he developed for Henry Dreyfuss in 1952 was the beginning of his distinctive sculptured style. Soft, curving forms in natural hardwoods with individual parts flowing together to create simple compositions that are warm and sensuous. Sam used his own body, experience, and intuition to develop comfortable furniture, remarkably a Maloof chair fits virtually everyone.
You look at the chairs, and there's a beautiful form to them. You want to sit at them. They're inviting on that aesthetic level. But at the same time, once you get in and you feel the craftsmanship, how they're tapered, how comfortable they are. It's a pleasant experience to sit in the Sam Maloof chair.
These hands, large as they are, and rather brutalized as they have been by little cuts and pieces missing and splinters and calluses, they have the wonderful ability to take a piece of obdurate material like wood and a few electrical saws and a few hardened pieces of metal and work that obdurate but yet soft-ish material wood into something as fluid and graceful as though it had been just formed out of the most liquid of materials. Those hands themselves translate the inner feelings, the inner impulses, and the very kind of juice of creativity flowing from the mind through the hand to the piece of wood in an act which is so, and now even after so many years, is so graceful and knowledgeable. But it would seem that he was always that way.
He puts the gate up on the bandsaw, which you're not supposed to do, it's a safety device to keep you from cutting your arms and hands off. But he puts the gate up and he'll just take a piece of wood and sculpture freeform with the bandsaw, holding that wood, managing it through the saw. And it's very dangerous. And he tells his audience, don't do this. Just you can see what I do, but I've done this for years, but you're not supposed to do this.
If you and I tried some of the things that he does on the bandsaw, the wood would catch, it would spin in our hands, and if we were lucky, it wouldn't pull our hands in. But Sam is totally present in what he's doing. He's right there in the way that a Zen master is, in a sense.
You see his scrap heap, the things that he saws out, and these beautiful abstract forms drop to the floor at the end of his bandsaw. And he saves them, and he says, I'll find a use for that sometime.
No, I haven't yet, but I used to a long time ago.
Sam, the first time I came to your studio, I was just walking, and this was lying on the floor. And so I have a question for you. I mean, it was just a scrap. And did you pick it up and what part did you...
Actually, all I did was this part here and that part.
That's what I thought. So, I mean, that's a visionary, don't you think?
He makes latches out of them. He makes all sorts of things. And the abstract shape that he sees there suggests something that useful that he can make out of it.
This is, I think, a nice one, and just push that through there, and the leather thong keeps it from getting lost.
Sam designs every piece of furniture, selects the wood, cuts and assembles the piece before turning it over to his 3 woodworkers to shape, sand, and finish to his specifications.
You cut these this way, and it should have been the other.
But it is true that he cuts all his furniture, he glues it together, he shapes it. And the rest of the process, which takes an enormous amount of time, is all done according to Sam's standards. And they're not inconsiderable standards either.
I'll just mark it, and they'll know that I want a little bit taken off there,
He makes the chairs, there's no question about it, but he's recognized that the aid that his workers, and he doesn't have very many of them actually, 3, he puts their initials on. So he recognizes their role.
This is Mike Johnson, Larry White, and David Wade.
In his otherwise unadorned furniture, visible joinery plays an important aesthetic role. Differences in color and graining patterns emphasize the presence of the various shapes. The warm and mellow patina obtained by a lengthy process of sanding, filling, oiling, and rubbing could never be matched by industrial methods, one of the charms that sets Maloof's work apart from manufactured pieces. Sam's shop is run very much like a family operation. The 3 woodworking artists who work with Sam are referred to as the boys.
And the first time I carved a seat, I can carve a seat now in about an hour and a half, and I think it took about a day and a half when I first did one. And he was really patient, and I really appreciated it, but that's when I kind of felt like I was part of the team, like I was finally going somewhere. So.
These melt right into the core here, the hard line here.
It'll sit like this, and the print music will just lay on there. And there's a lot of hard lines and a lot of detail in these heads. And typically I use a die grinder and a small Dremel tool, and I remove a lot of the excess material. And then I'll start sanding with 80 grit and progressively finish to 400. And that's when I'll burnish it with steel wool, 4/0 steel wool, and give it a coat of oil. And it's really satisfying to carve and to see the finished product. You know, to be able to do that.
Walnut, and maple.
He's worked every day, you know, day in and day out. There's never really been a day he hasn't been a part of it. And I just respect the discipline and his drive, his willpower. Yeah. There's a lot of gratification, you know, also when you know it's going to become an heirloom, and there's a lot of satisfaction in the people who ultimately receive these pieces. To be able to focus, you know, to be able to come in and out of a project, I think it's key, you know, to follow through on anything you do in life.
Sam probably doesn't know it, but I have a collection of newspaper articles probably from way back in the 60s, you know, when I was just a little kid. An uncle of mine who lives over here in Upland used to save them for me because he knew I was interested in woodworking, and so he would cut them out for me, and I'd save them in a box. And so I've got articles from way back about Sam. So it was you know, a real neat opportunity for me to meet him finally, and then to actually be able to have the offer to work here was a real neat thing. I think that's one of the big advantages to this job, is that we're not just doing just one little part of the operation, but we get to see it through.
Okay.
Well, after lunch, if you like, I could bring in some wood and we could get some spindles laid out.
Yeah, why don't we do that after lunch?
It does take a long time to sand and shape one of these things out, but I must say it's always worth it, you know, when you get the thing oiled and buffed out, and you look back and you say, you know, this is something that's really going to be around a while. And I think that over the years, as far as you know, not moving on like maybe at first I thought I would or something, it's just been because of the atmosphere around here to work in, and just the opportunity to work on things that I wouldn't get the chance any other place. So
I figured I owed him something. He helped me out when I was first starting. I figured as Sam was getting older, he could use some reliable help, and so it's been good. I really enjoy woodworking. I like seeing rough wood go through the stages and coming out into a beautiful piece. And I like the process of that. I like shaping wood. Well, to take a piece that's rough and smooth it and sand it and feel that grain come up, and when it goes through all those stages, there's nothing like it. It gives it character, and it's handmade. Furniture is a very thoughtful thing. When you're designing it, you're thinking about function. You're thinking about all the different aspects of it, the joinery of it, how it's going to go together. You're making drawings or patterns to work from, and so it's a very exacting kind of process. In the course of this process, you're looking at each piece and really checking out to see how it's evolving and where it's going in terms of the wood and the shaping.
That away, and then this all gets shaped, and the design is more important to me than the workmanship. I'd rather have something that was well designed and poorly made than something that was poorly designed and beautifully made. But of course the criteria is beautifully designed and beautifully made. That's what I try to do with what I do.
Sam comes in and signs it, and we log it in the book at that time. And that's kind of like, it's the final step in the sanding room. Mike and I like to put the first coat of oil on, because that's when you see the grain come up and see the thing flash right in front of your eyes, and that is an exciting moment.
When you take a piece of wood and make a piece of furniture out of it, it lives forever.
And we put the oil on, and it's a sense of closure at that point. And you get to look at the piece and see how well it came through.
And that'll be padded.
And often we'll all three go in there and look at it and just check them out and kind of savor them. Like a keel. Yeah, it has a...
But I must say that I have three wonderful people working for me, and then my manager of the whole thing, I've had here for about 2 or 3 years, and I don't know what I'd do without her. So we have a very, very good team.
Good morning, Sam Maloof Woodworking. This is Roz.
Roz Bach, Sam's office manager, has taken over the role Alfreda had in running the business, making sure that orders are filled, that clients are happy, answering the calls of those waiting for their order, and keeping the shop humming. His original home in a lemon grove in Altaloma was located in the path of a planned freeway. The state had declared the house a historical landmark and were thereby obligated to preserve it.
My wife didn't want to move. I think she was very, very afraid of moving. And she had said that she probably wouldn't be here when she wouldn't even see the ground broken, and she didn't.
We have about 80 orders for rockers.
After 50 years of marriage and companionship, and after a short illness, Frida, as Sam would put it, went away.
From the day that we married, she's been my partner. After Frida went away, those were the most awful days of my life. This was my wife's studio, and so I just cut that out in 2 pieces that come apart and have Alfreda's name on it. You can see A-L-F-R-E-D-A backwards from in here. We were together for over 50 years, and She was the heart and soul of what I did. Still is. I was at a loss, I really was. I thought the end of the world had come. It was a heartbreak time, you know, giving up what we had. I didn't know what was going to happen or anything. The greatest compliment? What a nice wife I had.
In 2001, as construction of the new freeway neared the site, the state moved the building in 8 pieces to a new site at the foot of the San Gabriel Mountains. At the time, Maloof was dealing with the passing of Frida, so he embraced the relocation as a chance for a new start. For one thing, it allowed him to design and build a second house to live in.
In a way, it's really a whole new beginning. I told Frida, I said, not very many people in their middle 80s get to start life all over again, building a new house alone. She said, Sam, I'm not up to it. I just can't do it. And so I'm doing it. It isn't as much fun, really, as I thought it was going to be without her, but I have to do it, and so I'm doing the best I can. We're moving to a new location because of the freeway, and drawings that I did didn't come out after the architect got through with them, and we decided just to build a model.
By building the model, Sam has been able to really see the shape and form of the structure.
That's the kitchen, and then the living room will be up here in front, and then the dining room will be right in front of the spiral staircase.
Maloof's new property offered lots of opportunities to create. There was a chance to design cavernous new lumber sheds, which he placed so they framed his view of the San Gabriel Mountains.
In this room, it's practically all fiddleback maple and quilted maple, and then I do have some rose or some walnut there, some cherry wood in here, but then my other storage sheds have different kinds of woods in them. I use all kinds of woods, but I think my favorite wood overall is walnut. The California walnut is awful hard to beat for the figure.
He also has a spot picked out for an education center and a gallery to showcase the work of local artists and to archive his vast art collections.
Sam looks forward. You know, he doesn't look back. He's very optimistic about everything. He always sees the future possibilities. And that's what all artists do.
Completed in May 2000, Maloof's showcase residence with its low-pitched blue metal roofs and redwood siding complemented the historical residence. He built a set of spiral stairs in his new house to create the warmth and charm of his first home, and to tie the memory of Elfrida to the new location.
But most of the work that I do is just doing it. I have a picture in my mind of what I want it to be, and I just go ahead and do it. I don't think you could paint unless you saw the picture in your mind. And that's the way it is with furniture, whatever I do. I see a drawing in my mind, and I just do what my mind tells me to do. I don't know if it's a God-given gift or what.
4 years after Elfrida's passing, Sam would renew a friendship with the person he had made furniture for over 50 years ago. Beverly Wingate and Sam would marry in 2002, and a re-energizing of Sam would take place.
She's a very supportive person, like Frida was, but she's her own person. She has her own personality, but she's thoroughly behind Sam, which is what he needs. You know, he missed Frida so much.
One day Sam got a little irritated with me, and he said, "You treat me like I'm 60 or 70. And I'm going, is that good or bad? Anyway, I told this story to some people, and somebody picked up on it and brought this wonderful hat that says, "You treat me like I'm 60.
Sam, I can't wait for your first pitch.
Are you going to sing the Star Spangled Banner?
He's the real deal. I mean, he is the advertisement for staying active your entire life. I'd have to say that Sam is one of the more gifted people that I've ever been around. He's about as, in spite of that, he's about as well grounded as a human being can be. First of all, Sam's in terrific shape, so this won't be a problem, and we'll have a good time. I'm sure he'll get a rousing hand from the crowd, and we will certainly introduce him as the best woodworker that ever lived.
He turned 90 in January and continues to work 6 days a week. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Maloof.
He's a good pitcher.
Good pitcher, yeah, I think so too. Sam is a genuinely sweet, sensitive guy. I mean, he's not terribly impressed by worldly trappings, which is a little bit of the paradox. Because here's this guy that makes this truly elegant furniture. I mean, the stuff that sort of ought to endure forever. And I'm sure that my great-grandchildren will be enjoying some of the stuff that Sam has made. But he does it because he thinks that's what he's here on the planet to do.
Maloof's home offers both an inward and outward experience. Inward toward the central courtyard, and outward toward the expanding garden and grove.
Beverly's Discovery Garden has proven that a drought-tolerant garden needn't consist of sand, stone, and cactus. The garden has become a contribution to the arts and crafts of the home, much in the same way that the new residence complements the overall look of the compound. The surrounding landscape flourishes in many different gardens, organized by plant types, contributing to the organic, naturally grown impression of the home. A series of stone dams guide and absorb water runoff to minimize erosion.
But Frida saved everything.
Well, I would write, as you see, the date and who ordered it and what they ordered and how much.
Roz continues a practice started by Alfreda, filing records of orders and adding personal notes. The tall metal file cabinets that fill Maloof's office disclose much more than orders for chairs and tables, bills, or payments. These records reveal some of the deep friendships that Sam and Alfreda formed with their customers. Cards, letters, invitations, and newspaper clippings demonstrate the complex bonds that grew between the famous woodworker and his clients.
Sam's a fabulous personality, and the client loves the meeting with Sam, enjoys the experience of seeing how their furniture might look in their house by visiting Sam's house.
Very comfortable.
I
think the one on the left is earlier, yeah.
That's earlier than this one.
Right.
He likes to visit people who own his furniture just to take a look at his furniture and see how it's doing. And if it needs some assistance, he'll help it along again later on in its life.
This one, I guess they got a new puppy, and he decided to chew on the arms, so we're going to take it off and make a new arm for
it. Are they twins?
They are.
When you made a friend of Sam's, you're a friend for life. Sam ensures that.
Dr. Robert Williams, Sam's personal physician for over 30 years, owns a number of Maloof pieces, including a dining room table and chairs. After his retirement, Dr. Williams looked to share his prized possessions with his family.
Jan? Oh, I'm glad you're finally getting the dining room set that you've been promised for so long. Take good care.
Basically, you've got something which can stand the test of time, your life, the use of it, your grandchildren's lives to come or presently, and these things are going to end up basically being used and treasured as heritages, mankind's heritages in making something that is so useful and so beautiful and almost so spiritual.
Was not just a table and chairs that I was inheriting, but it was that friendship and all those times that we sat there and enjoyed communing at this table.
How y'all doing? Good to see you. All right.
I'm so sorry.
President Carter and Sam Maloof are really quite alike as human beings.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
It's a pleasure to see you, too. I'm so delighted, always.
And I think that Sam has really kept that connection very close and really appreciates not only what President Carter has done as a most effective ex-president and a man who's really played a very prominent role in world affairs, and yet is a deeply humble man
and somebody who can drop all the accoutrements of power and the Nobel Prize winning aspects of things and just get down there with a hammer and build a habitat for humanity. And in that sense, that's what Sam is doing. He's building furniture for humanity. And I think they both understand it on that level.
Just a few years behind you, as you know, Sam, and one of the most precious things in my life is not only the furniture, including this piece, but also your personal friendship. It means so much to me. And in a very proper way, I want to extend to you love.
I'm convinced that as much as Sam loves making beautiful furniture, what really motivates him is enjoying it afterwards, the same way he enjoys all truly fine work. But that pure delight in craft is only part of the equation. The other component is Sam's insistence that you come and see what I'm working on, or come and see the new piece of art I just bought.
The whole concept of it was bringing the world of art together